Hi everyone, this is Jeanne-Marie Taylor of Jeanne-Marie Taylor Muse on Facebook. Welcome to today's musing. So today is March 27th, 2020. And I want to let you know, in case you happen to notice, that I missed a day here on YouTube yesterday. I was having a little bit of trouble with the internet. So I want to invite you to find my page on Facebook. You can go there and you will find what I was unable to post here to YouTube. And let me tell you what that is briefly. It is about a 15-minute meditation. I don't even want to call it a meditation. It's really almost like a sample healing session with me. So I can't wait for you to hear it. It has some amazing energies, and you're going to find it on my Facebook page under the heading. I have some free resources posted, and this is a Metatronian healing session. So that is what you will be looking for. Metatron, by the way, and Metatron is part of the word Metatronian. Metatron is an archangel who helps us with amazing healing vibrations. So go and check that out if you haven't checked that out yet. It's free. It's there for you. It's a wonderful resource. And I've already had somebody tell me that it's addicting and that she loved it. So people are really enjoying this. So I hope that you do too. Now, what I want to talk about in today's musing is this. I was asking my angels and guides what we most need to hear, and I try to do that every time I make one of these recordings. And what came in today is, to me, really important. So I'm going to give you a sentence. Oh, let's just call it a mantra, right? So this is something almost like an affirmation that you can say, but certainly keep this in mind as you go about your days. You know, we all have a lot going on right now. We are all hunkered down. We are protecting ourselves and our families from COVID-19, the pandemic, the virus that's going around right now. And I know that you have a million and one things on your plate right now. You're probably, preparing your family, and you're buying some supplies, and you're getting all nicely hunkered down. But as you do all of this, I want to make you aware of this message. And so here's our new mantra: new alignments for new assignments. New alignments for new assignments. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, it's going to be important for us to understand that some of the relationships that we have, some people who have been in our lives, maybe they're kind of out on the outskirts. Maybe it's that distant relative you see once or twice a year, but you talk to them sometimes on Facebook. Whatever the case is, there are some people who have been in our lives who are not going to be remaining in our lives. And just very quickly, no, I'm not referring to death. I'm not referring to death from the virus. What I'm referring to is this is a time of great shift right now. This is a time of cultural transition across the world, and how we envision ourselves as human beings is really going to be changing. How we view really everything. I mean, look at just the change alone in how we feel about touching each other, and whether it's okay to shake someone's hands or to hug someone, right? So there's going to be some change going on in our lives, I feel, in terms of relationships. There's also, I feel, and I have noticed this in my own life, there's going to be a need for some boundary setting with people. It's going to become even more important than it always has been for us to practice self-care. And that when we can, when it's appropriate, when we can do so with compassion and love, it's going to be helpful for us to give ourselves permission to take a little bit of a time, a little bit of a break from people, or in some cases, maybe move on from certain relationships when someone is toxic, when someone is abusive, when someone is continually seems to be not understanding you and where you are coming from and maybe haranguing you. There's a lot of behavior going on right now that's not ideal, that we can really have a lot of compassion for, right? Because people are nervous, right? But what I want to do right now is based upon the messaging that I am receiving. I want to make it okay in your mind to do what flight attendants on airplanes have told us for years to do. You know what they always say, put the oxygen mask on over your own mouth before you try to help others, right? So that's going to be really important right now. It's so good to extend ourselves out to others. It's so good to say, it doesn't matter what I get back from this person. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to be there for them. And that's really wonderful. But it's so important to understand right now that with these shifts that are going on, if we do not have as an essential goal the understanding of just how important it is that we nurture ourselves and ground ourselves and do things that will help us to continue to progress on our path. If we don't have a sense of that, really it's going to be very easy to become overwhelmed, to become depressed, to become so anxious that you cannot function. And some of what I'm seeing right now is I'm seeing some paralysis out there. I'm seeing a lot of people who are kind of like so scared they almost can't answer emails, or they sort of like can't sort of think things through. And that's totally normal, but we want to just help you to just stay calm and stay grounded. So one of the ways that we do that, and this is just normal. This is like, think about a tree for a minute. A tree, if it has a branch or two or three that is not vital, it's just not working out. A tree basically, it prunes itself. Ultimately, it will drop that branch. It will drop its dead weight. It will shed that. And I just want to say that it is okay at times to tell someone, I kind of just can't get into the sort of back and forth that we have always had because it's really affecting me right now. So I'm going to need a little bit of space. So it's okay to do that. And I want you to just really give your permission to put a little bit of a buffer zone between yourself and other people who are not really helping you to be at your best. Again, if there are people who are less fortunate, or a family member or someone who's mentally ill, or someone who you really do need to be there for, then that's fantastic. Be there for them. Do it with grace. I know that you will. Do it with love. But you can still, even if you're sort of having to be there helping someone, you can still do that in such a way that you are not looking at them for approval. You're not looking toward them to, for any sort of fulfillment or to help you feel good about who you are. This is going to be a time where we sort of have to get in touch with our own strength and sort of have to feed our own souls so that then we can go around and help each other as we wish. So in fact, there are going to be some relationships that are going to be either a little bit, we're going to experience a little bit more distance, and I want to make that okay, and I also want to make okay, or put it this way, I want to just put into context something that some of you may have noticed for the past several months in your lives. You might have noticed that you were starting to have different kinds of interactions with people. You might have noticed several months ago that, because this started to happen to me, that maybe you were a little bit less tolerant of things that you maybe used to just be able to tolerate. So there has been a shift going on even before the pandemic. And I think it was sort of preparing us for the pandemic, because when we face a crisis, it's really important to understand what we're doing here. So yes, we can still help people even if like a family member who maybe is, elderly, and they're not really in control of how they act. Maybe they have Alzheimer's and a a horrible temper. Sure, we can still be there for them. Absolutely, that's fine. But it's just going to be very important for you then to take extraordinary measures of feeding yourself, feeding your soul, and replenishing and nourishing yourself, and at times setting boundaries. And in other relationships where we do not have that kind of a commitment or a family duty, I just really want you to make it okay to shed some old relationships that are not working out. Compassion, yes. Love, yes. Understanding, yes. We always do those things first. But because we do understand that, people are anxious, and sometimes that's outside of their control. But in some cases, again, if we're not giving ourselves permission to acknowledge and address what could be a real lack of alignment between ourselves and others, then we're in danger of potentially moving forward, sort of carrying around these old, outdated relationships or acquaintances. Like, maybe there's a club that you have belonged to and you just aren't feeling a connection anymore. Now would be a good time to just give yourself permission to move on from that and just spend your time in a way that really feeds your soul. Because what's so important is that we prepare you to move forward with your future, and in a very expansive way, where you can form new alliances with people who you really resonate with, because again, our mantra is new alignments for new assignments. So the assignments piece of this is some of us, and I've noticed this in my readings in about the last month or two, some of us are sort of being given assignments. I'm being told things about people having a certain mission right now, people having a certain life purpose that is really coming up and wanting to be acknowledged right now in a beautiful way. And in addition to that, there are going to be other shifts. Like, there are going to be new groups of people, new groups of friends, perhaps on Facebook, who might not have known each other previously, but who are going to be coming together in partnership, and sometimes maybe even in barter relationships. Or, hey, let's have a group, and you'll be the one who sort of keeps track of the latest research and what we're learning about how long the virus lasts, stays alive on various surfaces. You'll be the person who brings that to the group. I'll bring some healing energies to the group. Maybe somebody else will bring a different type of gift that they have to the group. So we're going to be forming new alliances to help us with our missions. We're going to have new alignments for our new assignments. And it's just going to be an amazing and exciting time. It's going to be at times a time that's very hard to cope with for many of us. And we're going to really need to reach out, and we're going to need to really sort of know who our friends are and know who's there for us. So if you have a beautiful relationship with someone, be sure and tell them how much you appreciate them and having them in your life. There are going to be relationships and even marriages that are formed at this time. And like I said, there are going to also be some other relationships that we let go. So it's time for us to be very conscious and very deliberate, and also very patient with ourselves, and not giving ourselves a guilt trip if we really no longer resonate with an activity, with a person, with a group, with a place of worship. It's okay to move on. This can be a beautiful time of transformation. Oh my goodness. As I say this, I'm getting this amazing imagery of, butterflies coming out of their cocoons. So really and truly, this can be an amazing time for all of us, but we do need to be conscious and deliberate about our relationships right now. So new alignments, for new assignments. That's our mantra. And I hope you have a beautiful evening. This is Jeanne-Marie Taylor from Jeanne-Marie Taylor Muse. Oh, I look so forward to being with you tomorrow. Thank you for being here with me today.